Hey, thanks for coming in the last minute. When did you find out you were going to do this?
Yesterday afternoon.
All right. We're gonna be fine. I've got some questions here that I'm going to ask you. There you go. You get your own mic too. So, Darrell, you've been doing this for a while. You have over 25 years experience in the oil and gas industry. Which experiences do you think prepared you best for your current position, leading operations here in Chevron's Delaware Basin?
Well, thank you, and Jeff sends his apology for that. Given the short notice of this emergency, I would say very little has prepared me for this exact moment in my career.
Well, you're doing great so far.
Thank you.
Yeah. So, I got to visit, and some of us from the Mayor's Summit got to go down to Midland, and we got to visit some of the companies, and Chevron being one of them. And I didn't realize the history that Chevron has in this part of the country. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, you want me to answer the last question about
Sure.
the experience? I was just kidding.
I thought you already did.
Well, in 25 years, early on, I did get the opportunity to work in New Mexico. So I did know the lay of the land. I knew the agencies. I knew how to get oil and gas projects done in the state. But other than that, one experience, very little has prepared me for the shale boom that we see now. It's an unconventional resource play. And by the very nature of that, the unconventional part of that, it's a very steep learning curve for industry right now. There's still a lot of experimentation going on. There's pilot testing. The universities, the service companies, the operators, we're all still experimenting with a lot of things and trying to unravel, the best way to unlock the value of this opportunity. So there's still a lot to learn there. The fact that it's a resource play, that means that the shale is regional in nature. So not only do you have the conventional technical challenges to deal with, what's my landing zone going to be, what's the proper spacing, what's the completion that's best for this, but you also have more of a logistical and supply chain challenge that's part of it also due to the scale of it all. It's kind of like the Walmart mentality applied to the oil field.
So, but Chevron's not doing all this. I mean, you guys have been here in this area for quite a long time. In fact, I was quite surprised. When did you drill your first well here?
So it's a long history in the state of New Mexico, and we hope that it's going to be a very long and a very bright future as well. But if you go back, the history of Chevron goes all the way back to 1908. There's some early commercial activity that was there in the archives. We've got our first exploration well was 1919, and then our first wells followed in 2025, mid-20s. And ever since then, you've had a pretty steady, depending on the different business cycles, a pretty steady investment rate over the decades to build all the legacy positions that Chevron has today. So included in that are, there's a lot of deep gas wells in the Delaware Basin. There's vertical wells in the Delaware Mountain Group. There's all of the water floods that were drilled throughout the 40s, 50s, 60s, and so on in the Jow, Eunice, Hobbs, and Lovington area. And all of those assets were later converted from water flood to CO2 flood, or some of them were. And those were very important to our history and very important to our story, because those were the things that gave us enough critical mass as a company to stay in the Permian.